Hello to everyone. This is Viewpoint on Noyan Tapan TV, and I am Benyamin Poghosyan. At this episode, we will discuss the current stage of Armenia-Azerbaijan relations, as well as developments around Nagorno-Karabakh. When Azerbaijan launched its offensive on September 19, 2023, and finished with Nagorno-Karabakh Republic by force, and also kicked out entire Armenian population from Nagorno-Karabakh, there were different perceptions about how all this would impact the Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiation process. Some experts argued that as the issue of Nagorno-Karabakh, or in more precise way, the issue of status of Nagorno-Karabakh, was a primary obstacle for Armenia-Azerbaijan peace negotiations and for signing Armenia-Azerbaijan peace agreement, then probably, despite being a terrible tragedy, the destruction of Nagorno-Karabakh Republic and forced displacement of all Armenians could facilitate Armenia-Azerbaijan peace process. According to this logic, now if there is no Nagorno-Karabakh Republic and no Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, nothing may prevent Armenia and Azerbaijan to reach peace agreement in Brussels format, especially given that in 2023, the Brussels format and Washington format, or as we may call it, the Collective West platforms, were much more active than Russian platform. Let's not forget that Armenian and Azerbaijan leaders met twice in Brussels, May, July 2023. The foreign ministers with their respectful teams spent days and days negotiating in Washington on peace agreement in May and June 2023, while there was only one brief meeting in Russia between Armenian and Azerbaijani leaders. However, immediately after finishing with Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, Azerbaijan started to send signals that Baku is anymore not interested in Western platform. First, Azerbaijan cancelled its participation in Granada format. Granada meeting on October 5, which was scheduled way long before even the Azerbaijani latest offensive. Discussions about Granada meeting started immediately after June 1st Chisinau meeting 2023. And there was an idea that at the margins of third European Political Community Summit, Armenia and Azerbaijan may sign, if not a peace agreement, at least a roadmap. But then suddenly on October 4th, Azerbaijan cancelled its participation, arguing that European Union changed its position, is now pro-Armenian, it cannot be an honest broker, that France is supplying weapons to Armenia, and the hopes that Germany will balance pro-Armenian France did not materialize, so Azerbaijan cancelled its participation, demanding that, okay, if you want me to be at Granada, President Erdogan also should be at the negotiation table. Like 6 leaders, not only Armenia, Azerbaijan, France, Germany, and European Union, but also Turkish President Erdogan. This was not accepted, and thus there was no meeting at Granada. The meeting took place, of course, but only with participation of Armenia, and there was some statements were signed there. However, immediately after that, Azerbaijan stated that still it was interested in original Brussels format, European Union, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and hinted its willingness to take part at the meeting at Brussels by the end of October 2023. But then, around October 24-25, it became clear that Azerbaijan cancelled also meeting in Brussels, this time without any clear explanation, just mentioning some lack of time. Most probably, Azerbaijan thought and thinks that it received everything which it could receive from the West. Effectively, Azerbaijan implemented ethnic cleansing of Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh and faced zero consequences from West. We are speaking about real consequences and public consequences, not some closed-the-door meetings or hints that yes, at the closed doors, behind the closed doors, Western leaders warned President Aliyev or criticized President Aliyev or even shouted against President Aliyev. Zero consequences, zero real consequences. Statement, yes, some resolutions at European Parliament and other bodies which has almost zero impact on real policy decision-making process. So from Azerbaijani perspective, now when there is no Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, and this was a solution which Azerbaijan even cannot dream about, not only ethnic cleansing of Armenians, but zero reaction from anyone, Russia, European Union, United States, zero consequences. Probably now Azerbaijan thinks, okay, why I need West? Why I need Western platforms, which will definitely increase Western influence and presence in South Caucasus. But does Azerbaijan need it? Most probably no, because more Western influence in South Caucasus means also more discussions about problems on human rights in Azerbaijan, lack of freedom of speech, freedom of movement, political freedoms, political prisoners, arrested journalists, etc., etc. Definitely, President Aliyev does not need all this. Now he says to the West, okay guys, I can give you only my oil and gas, and you will give me your US dollars and euros. Nothing else. Simultaneously, Azerbaijan started to play a game with Russia and Iran, hinting that despite all the contradictions between three of them, he is ready to accept the notion that the South Caucasus problems should be solved, or at least should be managed, by regional states, which mean Russia, Iran, Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and that he is not interested to have more Western influence in the South Caucasus. And in this regard, Azerbaijan is now telling Russia and Iran, look, I am fully in your side. I know that the West is your adversary, if not enemy, and I don't want to have more your enemy in our region, and I don't want to bring more of your enemy or adversary in our region. I'm fully okay to at least attempt to manage our disagreements, or to come to some conclusions, or to come to some solutions together, without the European Union, without the United States. While look, this tiny Armenia is non-stop speaking about more European Union, more United States. It's Armenia who is telling that EU involvement is very important, that United States involvement is very important in South Caucasus. It's Armenia is applying to the European Union, asking Europeans to increase their presence in Armenia, more monitors, or more cooperation on security sphere. So now we have a situation when Azerbaijan got everything from the West, exploiting the Western platforms, because the idea that Armenia should recognize Nagorno-Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan came during the discussions at the Western platform. And West's idea was this, okay, Armenia recognizes Nagorno-Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan. This automatically means that Armenia recognizes there could not be no Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, no Nagorno-Karabakh Defense Army, because you cannot have two states within Azerbaijan and two armies within Azerbaijan. Simultaneously, West will try to convince President Aliyev not to kick out Armenians, somehow provide some security guarantees for them, but even if not, and Armenians will be kicked out, no problem. Karabakh issue will be solved, Armenia and Azerbaijan will sign peace agreement on the Western auspices, and then this will not only increase West influence in the region, but also will decrease Russian influence in the region. So this was the West idea, and Azerbaijan thought, okay, let's exploit this, let's also put pressure on Armenia to force Armenia to recognize Nagorno-Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan, to drop even demand for the autonomy for Nagorno-Karabakh. And Azerbaijan knew very well that when Armenia recognized Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan and even dropped any demand for autonomy for Nagorno-Karabakh, this was a green light to start military offensive against Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, because again, there could be no two republics within one state. And simultaneously, everyone understood that if there is a no Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, no Nagorno-Karabakh Defense Army, there could be no Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, because Armenians simply cannot live under Azerbaijani jurisdiction with Azerbaijani passports. So Azerbaijan simply exploited these Western ideas of Armenia-Azerbaijan peace and Armenia-Turkey normalization, hoping to have more Western influence in the region and less Russian influence in the region, used these ideas to make an ethnic cleansing of Armenians from Nagorno-Karabakh, and now simply tries to say goodbye to the West, and now playing game with Russia and Iran. While Armenia is now in a very complicated situation. So Armenia lost Nagorno-Karabakh completely, no Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, 100,000 and more refugees in Republic of Armenia. Peace process is stalled on Brussels format. Azerbaijan is now playing with Russia and Iran, portraying Armenia as an enemy of Russia and Iran, as a country who tries to bring Russian and Iranian adversaries to the South Caucasus, and probably Azerbaijan, with the support of Turkey, will try to get this time another green light from Russia and probably also from Iran, that look, if Armenia will continue its policy telling that yes, I need more US and I need more EU in South Caucasus, or at least in Armenia, this means that Armenia will bring your enemies to the region. So in this case, okay, let me punish Armenia more. So the Western platform is frozen. Yes, there are some discussions that maybe some meeting may take place in December 2023, but everybody understands that all the hope that, okay, by the end of 2023, peace agreement can be signed in Western platform is now becoming less and less relevant. Simultaneously, Russia is activating its efforts, telling that, okay, I'm ready to host Armenia-Azerbaijan foreign ministers meeting, Armenia-Azerbaijan leaders meeting in Russia, and I'm ready to facilitate Armenia-Azerbaijan peace agreement. based on Armenia-Azerbaijan-Russia trilateral statements signed in 2020, 2021, 2022. Armenia tries to avoid them, even telling that, okay, we have no information that Russia is going to organize such events or Russia has any intention, which itself is a strange because Russian officials up to foreign minister level and the Russian president speaker level, they are publicly stating that Russia is interested to host these meetings. But Armenia trying to continue its efforts to be engaged in the Western platform, trying to, I would say, boycott the Russia-initiated different meetings like CIS meeting of Secretary of Security Council, CIF summit of leaders, and CSTO meeting of Ministers of Defense, telling that yes, I'm ready to sign a peace agreement in Brussels if Azerbaijan agrees the so-called Brussels principles. And the situation is very tricky. So Azerbaijan is not interested in the West because it got everything from the West, exploited the Western platform and the Western ideas that Armenia should recognize Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan. And now Azerbaijan is not interested in any peace deal, and definitely is not interested in peace deal signed in Western platform. Now it's playing games with Russia and Iran. Armenia still consists and hopes that something can be done in the Western platform, but because of this protest of the facilitated or dialogues in Western platform, Armenia-Russia relations are very tense now. Tensions are rising. Armenia still consists and argues that yes, the peace agreement should be signed in Brussels. I am ready to sign it in Brussels, which is itself perceived in Moscow as an Armenian effort to bring more West to the region, and the same we can say about Iran. So, if Armenia will continue to avoid the Russian platforms, Azerbaijan will avoid the Western platforms, then the peace negotiations may be frozen. And this could create a very dangerous moment for Armenia, especially in March, April, May, summer 2024. Because soon there will be election period, both in European Union and United States, and if there is no negotiations, I'm not speaking about peace agreement, if there is no negotiation, then Azerbaijan may use this as another pretext to launch another attack on Armenia, especially pushing forward the idea of so-called enclaves. Now Azerbaijan speaks about 8 Azerbaijani villages still under Armenian occupation, 109 square kilometers, and Azerbaijan may do what it did in Nagorno-Karabakh, telling that, okay, I am launching military operation, it's not aggression against Armenia, I'm just liberating my occupied territories. Especially when Armenian government and Armenian Prime Minister itself stated that yes, these enclaves are part of this 86,600 square kilometers of territory which are recognized as part of Azerbaijan. So the situation is very tricky and Armenia should be very careful and make right decisions. Because if the Western platform is doomed, because Azerbaijan is not interested in it, and if Azerbaijan is not interested in peace at all, and would like to keep the gray zone situation, hoping to launch another military aggression against Armenia in 2024, when the West will be busy with elections, then probably it's better to come back and at least to try to understand how is it possible to launch the negotiations within Russian-mediated formats, also trying to reach out to Iran, maybe to offer another platform with Iranian participation, because at least Iran is a country which definitely is not interested on any military attacks of Azerbaijan against Armenia and loss of more territory of Armenia. Let's not forget that Azerbaijan now occupies 200 square kilometers of Armenian territory while rejecting the path of effective occupation. This is all for today, and we will meet soon.